Okay, Raya and the Last Dragon is a really important movie for so many reasons. The movie is supposed to represent Southeast Asia, which is this region here, and as someone who grew up here and as a lover of film in general, I feel particularly compelled to give 10 reasons why Raya and the Last Dragon matters. Quick caveat, I'm not any sort of historian or cultural expert of the region, I'm just a guy who was really moved by this film. I'm so excited to talk about it, and here's why. Number one, its originality. We're going for the most general reason first. This is the first original movie from Walt Disney Animation Studios since Moana in 2016. It's been more than 4 years, guys, and from a big picture perspective, I think it's refreshing for audiences around the world to see more original movies, especially if they're this good. Number two, the voice cast. The voice cast did a phenomenal job overall, and you'd expect that when you have high-profile talent like Kelly Marie Tran, Gemma Chan, Awkwafina, Dae Kim, Sandra Oh, and Benedict Wong. But just look at these faces. It matters that for a movie inspired by Asia, that we get a majority Asian cast, or at least voice actors with Asian descent. I get that very few of these actors are actually Southeast Asian. I mean, I would have loved to see Michelle Yeoh cast in this film, but these are steps in the right direction, and I find it amusing that the only white man in the main cast is Alan Tudyk, who doesn't even voice a speaking character. He does the audio for Tuk Tuk, the cute giant armadillo creature. Number 3, the writers. The film was written by Adele, Lim, and Nguyen, again, 2 writers of Southeast Asian descent. This is important for 2 reasons. First, it's important to have writers who have a better understanding and feel of the region to be writing a movie inspired by it. Adele Lim in particular is Malaysian, like me, and is really an inspiration for all aspiring writers from my country. You might remember her as the writer for Crazy Rich Asians, and between that and Raya, I think she's 2 for 2. Secondly, it's also important timing-wise, because Disney was recently criticized for being culturally and ethically insensitive with their live-action Mulan movie. To some of the critics at least, the fact that the movie was written by 4 white Americans might have had something to do with it. Number 4, the diversity. We've talked a lot about this already, but specifically it matters that in a region with so much diversity, the movie itself depicts this diversity in its landscapes, the people that live in them, and the subcultures they live with. I don't think each region in the film represents a specific type of person from any country, but it's more a melting pot of cultures. And I like how the movie intentionally takes inspiration from a variety of countries. This matters because we don't necessarily have to draw a direct parallel between any fictional nation and any real-life country. That said, let's dive straight into number 5, the imagery. There are so many visual and story references to Southeast Asian culture, and this is what had me the most excited because I spotted so many cultural references to things I know about in a Disney movie, which has never happened before. And the best part is that I probably don't know most of the references, but here is what I do know. The film opens with an animation that resembles wayang kulit, an Indonesian puppet shadow play that is also present in Malaysia. Raya's hat is inspired by the conical hats worn by farmers in many Asian countries like Japan and Vietnam. Raya's asymmetrical sword is inspired by the keris, a traditional blade from Indonesia and Malaysia that is said to hold mythical powers. Raya's home of heart seems to be inspired by a cross between Halong Bay in Vietnam and the limestone hills in Malaysia. The floating market is super reminiscent of the same market in Bangkok. There are a lot of Thai references in the film as well, from the architecture of the buildings in Phang that resemble the Thai and Laotian temples to my favorite reference of all, Disney's first on-screen depiction of Tom Yam Goong. Why are all these references important? Well, I've been speaking to friends and family across the past week, and people are genuinely excited to see this movie for these references alone. It's such a reinvigorating feeling to see your country's culture depicted in a positive light in a Hollywood movie. It matters because we feel seen by the world, and it matters because we can enjoy it together.
It's beautiful to be able to see the rich tapestry of images, whether it's food, whether it's actually weapons, whether it's in fabrics. you know that you see all painted throughout.
Number 6, the music. James Newton Howard's score was quite a big talking point, and having listened to the whole score on its own, I can understand why. Not only does it blend fantastically with the spectacle of the film, including some very heartfelt moments in the third act, it also borrows from a lot of the traditional music found in the region. I noticed strong use of choral music, exotic synths, and oriental percussion music. I definitely noticed some gamelan music in there too, some traditional Indonesian music for you. This all made the establishing shots awe-inspiring and the action scenes especially exhilarating. And that brings us to number 7, the combat. The combat in Raya and the Last Dragon is really well executed. Remember the 2 screenwriters we met earlier? Well, this guy, Nguyen, is a specialist in Southeast Asian martial arts and worked with the stunt team to craft unique fighting styles for the characters in the film. Experts may recognize that Raya's fighting style is inspired by the Indonesian pencaksilat, whereas Namari's style is inspired by Muay Thai. Fans of Filipino Arnis combat will also notice that Raya uses kali sticks at the beginning of the film, which is a great touch and further highlights how much detail went into weaving the local styles into the emotional fabric of the film. Number 8, the theme. Now you might want to skip this section if you don't want to know about the film's core message, but it's pretty clear because the theme is mentioned in pretty much every other sentence in the film. The theme is how trust builds unity. Now this is applicable to pretty much every country in the world, but I think it's uniquely relevant due to the geopolitics in Southeast Asia. I mean, between colonization, several global and civil wars, as well as racial and political tensions in several of our countries, trust, distrust, and unity is something that is constantly a hot topic in Southeast Asia. I mean, take Malaysia for example, a multiracial, multi-religious country that is for the most part peaceful, but has seen several controversial events within the past decade involving the breaking of trust. Raya is a film about how different peoples with different needs must trust and support one another if they have any hope of building a better future for the collective. I'm always fascinated with stories where cycles of violence or distrust are broken by someone carrying out a legit selfless act, and I think this is a film that can teach kids and adults the value of serving others and not just themselves.
I think it's a metaphor for how we can all be. You know, so many of us are taught to ask for something from someone else, but as opposed to extending from yourself first and paying things forward.
Number 9, the tone. Here's another reason why a Disney movie about Southeast Asia is important. It's about positive change. The tone of Raya and the Last Dragon is hopeful and optimistic, as one would expect for a film that caters to children. And whilst the tone may not reflect how things play out in the real world, I think it's great that we get a film about how things could be, which I'd argue is always one of the responsibilities of cinema. There will be tons of little girls and boys who watch Raya and not only see someone who looks like them making meaningful change, they may also be inspired to take ownership of their country's future and strive to drive that same positive change.
A lot of people on this call, every single person on this call is part of the positive change in terms of making sure that, you know, kids are seeing themselves in all across different forms of media. It's incredible how empowering it has been just to see a movie like this and to see characters existing in this world without having to over justify or explain themselves. Like they're just here, and that's a really beautiful experience.
Number 10, Raya. Last but not least, I think it's important to note that Raya means celebration in Malay. In Malaysia, one of the most important holidays of the year is Hari Raya Aidilfitri, or Day of Celebration. It's a day which involves the coming together of friends and family, regardless of race and religion, to celebrate the occasion with some delicious local food. Raya and the Last Dragon is similarly a celebration of unity across different lands and different peoples. And I gotta say, it was a pretty good celebration. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you liked it and that you learned something new. I hope you get to watch Raya and the Last Dragon at first available opportunity, and if you have seen it, let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. As always, I'll be back with another video soon, so until next time, have a great week ahead, maximum hype, and I'll see you soon.